and girls, we are back for the latest edition of the Truman Lake Fishing Intel Expert Roundtable Dinner, sponsored by Nini's Italian Steakhouse and Catering. They provide the food for these dinners. Great food. We had meatball subs and spaghetti tonight. It was fantastic. Nini's is located down in Warsaw, Missouri. You can stop on in and see them in the restaurant, or you can give them a call and schedule some catering. They did quite a few catering events here this last couple of months for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, for fall weddings. So they can get you covered within a few hours of Warsaw, Missouri. So give them a shout. And if you are a paid member of Truman Lake Fishing Intel, hop on into the restaurant and tell them you're a member, show them your membership on your phone. You get a free appetizer as well. In addition to Nini's Italian Steakhouse, I want to thank Anglers Port Marine for helping to make these videos possible as well. Anglers Port Marine is located right between Clinton and Warsaw on 7 Highway. They're your premier dealer for low boats, Phoenix boats, Camus boats. They got whatever kind of boat you're looking for. They got it. They had some stuff on the lot. It is pretty long lead time still on the boat, so now is the time to get in there and talk to them about getting your boat ordered. Hopefully it'll be here in time for when the crappie spawn is starting to kick off here on old Truman Lake or wherever you do your fishing the most. So be sure to check them out. It is mid-January 11th or 12th. Bow season's wrapping up. We got wintertime fishing really kicking in. Jeff been slaughtering ducks and geese, so is Hunter. And it's a lot of fun stuff that's been going on, but we're here to talk to you today about what's been going on around Truman Lake, kind of talk some of the ice report, and really touch on the species that are highly targeted this time of year, which is crappie and catfish primarily. You get a few sunny days, maybe a few bass fishermen will get out there and chase them around, but white bass. But crappie and catfish this time of year on Truman Lake are pretty much the target species, and that's what we're going to be talking about here today. So I guess with that, let's talk about lake conditions a little bit, what it's been like, because we've had some pretty dang cold weather. We've actually had some pretty recent warm-ups here the last few days. Richard and Jeff, both of you guys I know were up on the Upper Grand checking things out. Jeff, you've been on the lower lake. What's the skinny on the ice report?
As of today, which is 13th, 12th, I don't even know what day it is. 12th,
yep.
The upper end still had ice, the Upper Grand, and there's just a hole under the bridge where the salt runoffs run off the highway. But the lower end's all opened up, everything from Bucksall down pretty well is all open up on the Grand side. Tebow's open all the way from the top down. I don't know about the Osage on the upper end, but it's all open on the lower end. Yeah, I know the lower end's all open.
Yeah, and you've been running all over the Pommy, the Tebow, the Osage. You've been all over. You concur on anything different you've been seeing?
I haven't seen any ice anywhere from long shoal to Pommy arm, wide open.
Okay.
In the back of the pockets or nothing.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here thinking it's been a month, and I don't know, brain fog a little bit, but like I always like to do, introduce who we're talking to here. Jordan Lear, Angler's Edge Guide Service. Jeff Falkenberry, Endless Season Guide Service. Hunter and Richard Bowling, part of Richard Bowling's Guide Service, and Dylan Stocking, Get Outdoors Guide Service, are your experts today. So, good ice report. A lot of fishable water. Upper Grand is not so fishable, but
we're going to have some 15, 20 mile an hour wind here the next couple of days. So now that it's got some holes in it, the sunshine on it, we've had 3 days over 50, so it's probably rotten.
Yeah.
Even though there's still ice, it's probably starting to rot. So we get some wind, it'll sink quick.
But we got some cool weather coming, don't we?
Sunday morning.
Yeah.
It'll be cold.
How is the lake? The lake's pretty low, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to dry up.
Okay. What's water clarity looking like in the different arms of the lake? Dirty in the upper ends, cleaner down in the lower end. Is that it's kind of the general trend for Truman?
Yeah.
Is it normal dirty in the upper ends or extra dirty, not as dirty?
Just normal
It's
dirty.
Normal dirty, okay.
It's fishable, very
It's
fishable.
fishable.
Yeah.
If there wasn't a bunch of ice, it was very fishable.
Yeah. Okay, well, good lake updates. Jordan, you've been hammering on some catfish, and I know this time of year is a good time to get into the big ones and get into some good quantity as well. What's kind of the latest on what you've been seeing, what kind of pattern you've been finding, what you expect moving forward?
Well, they've been pretty deep on the lower end. Anywhere from long shoal to big palmy, little palmy.
Yeah.
I've been catching them from 20 foot to 55 foot. You can catch them in that depth from 20 to 55 in the same day.
Yeah.
Wherever you want to fish. And channel ledges and right down in the channel. Backs with deep coves with timber in them. And you can catch a lot of big fish either 20 to 55 foot.
That's what I was going to ask, if you find any kind of pattern on if the big fish are concentrated in a certain depth of water or certain terrain.
It doesn't seem to matter as long as there's a lot of shad in the area.
Yeah.
Are you catching them that deep?
Yeah, right on the bottom.
I don't have that much line.
Is there, if you're going to release a catfish this time of year from that depth of water, is there anything special you got to do?
Yeah, I burp them with a half-inch PVC pipe.
Yeah.
You'll hear that air just come out of them as soon as you put that pipe in there.
Gotcha.
And they'll be lively after that.
Okay. So are you doing that like in the live well? You're doing it on the side of the boat and the net?
Down in the water in the net, they'll just put the PVC pipe in there.
Okay. And that's just straight down their mouth into that.
Right in the throat.
Okay.
You can lay them across your. It's a dirty job. You can even pick them up and lay them across your belly. You know, just put something down their throat and put your knee on the back of their belly and slide it to the front and hear it go.
Mm.
And hear it come right out.
Yeah.
Even like he's doing with it in a net right there. If you do that, even under the water, you can see the air come out of the bottle,
Yeah.
which is a good way to do it.
Yeah. So on your trips, do you notice that the fish, are they biting pretty good right away? Is it a good bite all morning? Is it coming in waves? Or what have you noticed on that?
It seems like there's a morning bite and an evening bite. Doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah.
I usually start around 10 o'clock and fish till we have limits or
Yeah.
about 5 hours or so.
Yeah, I'm sure some clients appreciate that with how cold the mornings can be this time of year.
Yep.
Richard, have you kind of noticed the same thing? You've been on, I think, a completely different catfish pattern on some of your catfish trips here the last couple weeks.
Yeah, that was before the ice came in. I was 5-6 foot of water.
Yeah.
You know, just anchor fishing and, you know, fan casting poles and catching them in 2 foot to 5 foot of water right close to the bottom. But it was a good bite, and I'm sure now if that ice was out, it'd be a real good bite.
Mm-hmm. And it's just shallow water, windy banks, the wind is crashing up.
Yeah, right now what's going to happen is once this ice is out, get them weak shad pushing up on them shallow flats and stuff up in the upper end, and just go up there and I power pole down and learn a lot of it from Jeff, but just power pole down where that wind's pushing them weak shad. You'll see them flickering in the water. And that's what they're eating. Just power pole down and eat.
When you're graphing up there, are you looking for catfish, or are you looking for the shad mostly?
There won't be like balls of shad up there where you're catching catfish. There'll be the weak shad that's blowing in.
Okay.
So your balls of shad will be out on your channel swings or in the channel or
Okay.
whatever, and the fish will be up on them flats where the weak bait's blowing up too.
I know the day that we went, we moved around a lot. We moved around a lot, but we'd side scan a bunch of fish on that 5 foot. But when you get up to 2 foot of water, it's hard to side scan a fish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're playing the wind, then just, you know, ease in, use your trolling motor if you can. If you use the big motor, you see them scurry out of there.
What makes you say a weak shad? Like, what the hell's up with shad being weak compared to the other ones? They're just
Cold.
When
Wounded.
okay. That's it. That's all there is to it.
the ice gets on, sunlight doesn't penetrate the water.
Mm-hmm.
So all the algae and everything that's in the water basically photosynthesis is no longer happening.
Yeah.
So all the algae is not taking carbon dioxide and turning it into oxygen. So the parts per million oxygen actually falls when the ice is on.
Mm-hmm.
And when that oxygen level falls to a certain point, those shad can't live
Okay.
like other fish can.
Gotcha. So that's, and they just start floating. These weak shad? Are they like floating on top of the water?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'll
it's
see them
just-
just kicking,
Kind of
Okay.
kicking.
barely moving.
And you
Okay.
see dead ones.
Lots of dead ones.
And that's a good sign to get your baits in the water.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
almost like saltwater fishing. You can chase the birds someday.
Yeah.
You see those gulls going down on the flat, picking up a lot of dead bait. That's pretty good.
So if you don't have fancy graphs, that's
You don't even have to have a boat.
yeah.
That's the best time to catch them from the bank.
Okay.
Yeah, just make sure the winds are blowing in on that thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Use a heavy sinker and throw into the wind.
Yeah.
And hold on. That's fun.
It's a real good time to fish from the bank.
What are some of the biggest fish you guys have caught here in the last couple weeks? You had a good day the other day.
Yeah, anywhere from 20 to 33 pounds. What we had the other day, but 33 is the biggest we've had in about a month probably.
Big fish.
Good fish.
Yep.
Ours is probably 17, 18 pounds.
Yeah. And are those overs or slots?
That's guessing on the weight, but my grandson Hunter was with us and he caught it. He kept telling me, he said, Papa, there's a bite on that pole. He had 4 poles, Hunter had 4. Who was with us, Denny? He told us not to stop. He said, and he kept telling me, Papa, there's a bite on that pole. And he just, he's antsy.
Yeah.
Ain't no bite. Leave that alone. Leave it alone. I'm telling you, Papa, there's a bite on this pole. And I finally turned around and looked, and Hunter will tell you, it went around Denny's 2 poles and was around on the other side. I said, yep, you got fish. And he did, he got it in, and that, I guessed it at 17 pounds. It was an over.
Yeah.
It was about 35 inches.
At what weight do they start to be an over that you see on average? Is it a 12, 13 pounder? That's
It depends on the time of year.
Yeah, what the
But-
good
On average, that's 6 to 16 pounds
Yeah.
usually is
17 on
in the
mine.
slot.
in the
Yeah.
slot.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Depends
But
what-
depends on the time of year.
And slots, obviously, most people know watching this, there's a slot limit on Truman from 26 to 34 inches. Got to go back. That is in review currently, but it'll probably be several years before that review is completed and any assessment is made. So, kind of interesting. What do you expect the catfish bite to be moving forward? Is it going to be the same? What will change it at all? If it's going to be the same pattern through the wintertime, is there going to be anything that changes it on a daily basis that might impact it? What's the general consensus?
Nothing's going to change till the water hits in the 60s.
Okay.
It'll be the same all the way till the water temperature starts to warm up. So you won't do anything different until middle April.
Yeah,
And then by then you're usually current fishing on spring rain. So
yeah,
no, it'll be the same pattern. And that's what's so great about it right now is, like I said, you don't even have to have a boat. I mean, if there was ever a time to go bank fish
Mhm.
for catfish, if you don't have a boat, take your kids or whatever, you get on a good flat that's got wind blowing into it, you can catch fire out of them.
And if folks that are fishing from the bank that aren't netting shad and can't get fresh shad from the bank,
Yeah.
and maybe they can pick up some of those weak shad and throw those out. But what would you be throwing for bait from the bank?
You can go like to any farm pond or these strip pits or whatever and catch you some little black perch or
Mhm.
bluegill or whatever. Catch that, cut it up. I mean, I'm not a big chicken breast Kool-Aid
Yeah.
guy or whatever, but I mean, there's
Something's better than nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have bait, then a lot of people use livers.
Yeah.
And it's pretty tried and true. But if you can get any kind of fish that you can cut up,
Yeah.
is really good. You can typically find bait. I mean, you can go throw it from the bank. You can go to the dam and catch it from the bank.
Go down with
Uh,
dead water.
you can find bait somewhere.
And you said the dead water, just walk out on one of those little docks and
Yeah.
throw
Yeah.
that. You might get your limited crappie too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can only catch something.
Yeah.
Shad
But like I said, you can go to a farm pond and get some perch. or
Yeah.
whatever, too.
If you're on the lake and you want to go catch shad, what have you been seeing on the shad that you like, the size shad you like? What pattern have you been seeing?
Oh, it seems like from 25 to 35, they're pretty much loaded.
Okay.
Now on the lower end.
And that's just all over main lake? Is that in a pocket or
Main lake, creeks, both.
okay. Same thing upper end around Bucksaw and above, or
Yeah, they're out in the channel there around Bucksaw. Up
Yeah.
the lake, it's pretty tough to get bait up there.
Yeah.
Channel swings.
Really as deep as there
No, no. Might never be closed that deep.
Right out from the docks at Bucksaw.
yeah,
There was a bunch last time I idled through there and you could just,
yes,
string just lit up.
yeah, yeah. All right, well that's good to know. Any other? You guys are basically your fan pole. You're putting the power poles down, or you're anchoring up to a tree, fan casting poles, and away you go. What are those demon
Demon dragons.
demon dragons? Is that
They're just a float.
yeah.
It's just like running a bobber. They're like a spook body.
Yeah. So, is there a difference in the demon dragon versus just? I'm sure people have some regular floats.
Anchor fishing, I don't think it makes much difference. Dragon baits, you get a visual.
Okay.
And they hold up a little better than take boats. The fish will tear up and take boats pretty bad.
Okay.
But sometimes I'll use them just to I'll grab and pull that demon dragon and pull them right in the boat.
Yeah.
And lean the net.
Yeah.
Good handle the grab a hold of.
Yeah. That's true. Okay. Well, I was just curious. So.
Running like I do every day, it's not cost effective. For
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You lose them, you lose $4 or $5 sometimes.
Right. Right.
Doing what I'm doing, I've not even been running floats.
Mm.
No float at all.
Just a weight and a hook.
Put
Yeah.
the weight on the bottom, the hook up, foot up, or a foot and a half.
A blood knot.
Yeah.
Blood knot and tight line.
What size hook? I'm sure there's different opinions on the size of circle hook to be using. Is it
Eights.
8?
8-aught, circle, Gamakatsu's a good one.
Don't use anything else.
Oh, that's all I
Use
That's
whatever
what
you
I use
want.
for crappie fishing too.
Yeah.
do. For the minute.
He's going for the Giants. He's going for those state records, those nationwide records.
Or we actually caught a white bass on the 8 today. Cut bait.
Really? Have you guys seen white bass around in the creeks, anywhere, pockets, rivers?
Just on the live scope.
Yeah.
Scurrying, yeah, in the creeks.
No real big schools of them though.
Mhm, not for me.
Yeah. Well,
Come through.
Oh, yeah.
so on the crappie fishing then, we'll switch gears because I think we covered catfish pretty good. Dylan, what's kind of been your plan of attack on the old crappie fishing?
Creeks and pockets on the grain
Yeah.
all winter long. They'll be there till they spawn.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of ice in some of the pockets, especially on the upper grand now. Lower grand below Bucksall's pretty well wide open now. But just getting them creeks or pockets and go from the front to the back and they'll be in there.
And are you looking for like really long pockets, creeks, or could it literally be just like a pocket that's maybe 20, 30 yards?
Just a little pocket. will
Yeah.
work. Anything out of the wind is what I'm looking for now, just to get you out of the wind.
Yeah.
Where it's not so cold on you.
Are you seeing in these like little pockets, are they fairly open? Is there timber in these little pockets? Are they right off the channel?
Timber.
Yeah.
Want some timber in them. They're still hanging on timber. There's a few fish out roaming now.
Mm-hmm.
You can catch.
Gotcha. Now, you've been on a jig, I'm pretty sure.
Jig.
Yeah. So what's the story there? What size, what colors, does it matter?
I don't know if it matters. I've used anything from a 32nd ounce jig about this big to a 1/4 ounce about this big.
Okay.
So, and a lot of the bait that they're eating is about 3.5 inches long. If you cut one open, you cut a crappie open, it's got a shad in it about that long. Every single one of them.
So some of those big, longer Bobby Garland type of plastics would be working right now.
Yep.
Fine.
Okay. Richard, you were down a little bit different yesterday. Tell us a little bit about that.
I went to the lower lake, spent the morning with Bob Bates, kind of doing some tweaking on his graph. He's got a live scope, and just kind of changing some settings for him. And man, we pulled into the first pocket, and it was school after school after school. And I'm not talking 10 fish in a school or 20 fish. I'm talking 75 to 200 fish in a school.
Mm-hmm.
And he was pitching his bait, but you know, he's kind of getting out of the cone of that live scope, and he'd catch a fish, but he couldn't see his bait, so it's kind of, you know, he probably knows more about crap than I do, but I was teaching him the live scope what I know, and I could take my half-ounce sinker, and I had a little bitty a jig that Dylan had made. It was chartreuse and white, I believe, what I had to go to catch him, and it was a 16th ounce, but I could pitch that out, you know, here to 20 yards away, and watch that thing fall through him, and what was cool about it, you know, there's 100 fish in this school, and I hit the middle of the school, and you can see it going down, and 4 or 5 fish in the middle or one side come to it, the other just sit there. The other ones didn't want to eat. These fish chased it. Some of them was even hitting that half-ounce sinker. So, I mean, just that's all we done was chase them schools. We probably caught 60 fish in 2 hours. He had a big, I don't know who made this bait, but it was a big rubber bait, 2.5, 3 inch bait.
Yeah.
And he was catching fish with it, but he wasn't hitting that school like I was. And I was catching a lot of fish doing that. And then today I took a trip spider rigging for the first time in 2 or 3 years, really. And I knew that it wouldn't take long. And it, kind of like a vacuum cleaner. All them poles out there, just non-stop action all the time. You push through a school, or I could even hit spot lock on the boat, my boat, or my son's boat, and sit them poles right in them schools, fish on all the time. You'd literally be done in an hour if you wanted to be done. Now, not big fish, just good keepers.
Yeah.
And there is so many fish in every single pocket down there. You don't have to have a tree.
Yep.
I started on pretty close to the dam in a little pocket, or a pretty good sized pocket when it had one tree in it. And it was loaded, but it would be a school, and then 50 yards it would be a school, and then another school, and you could sit there and be done in no time.
Yeah.
But I got tired of looking at the same stuff, so we picked up and went up the Osage, you know, about a mile, and went in another pocket, and no trees. Started on the point, and then fish down by, you know, right at the dam. That water was pretty clean, and it was down 18 to 22 feet. We got up the Osage about a mile, mile and a half, whatever it was, and when I put the trolling motor in, the school sitting there about 20 feet from the boat, and it was only down about 10 feet. Easy pickings. But the water was just a little bit different, but not much. But the fish were way up in the water column.
When you say it was a little bit different, what do you mean?
Just a
Clawing?
little bit dirty. Yeah.
Okay.
So them fish really want to eat. When you pitch in there, instead of 1 or 2 or 4 of them coming, the whole school of them would come, and you know, it's hard to hand pick the one you want to catch when you get that many fish.
Yeah.
Down there today, using double minnow rig the whole time, we caught 2 keepers and then a small fish.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad, but we seen, I mean, if people don't think there's a lot of crappie in Truman Lake, I'd like to get them in my boat right now.
Yeah.
It's millions of them. It's unbelievable down there. But there's a lot of black crappie that's about 8 inches long right now. And they're going to hatch out again this year, and it's just going to, it's going to fill the lake up.
It's pretty neat to see that now with live technology, because all those pockets that you're talking about, we've been guiding in those for 10 years.
Same pockets.
Rigging.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I've seen it. Richard and I broke ice side by side and washed these pockets out and rig up to the ice where your line's actually pushing.
Catching the ice, yeah.
You know, and you're like having to take your rod and move ice chunks out when you're rigging. And then now to see these big old balls of fish, because it's always been that way. I mean, this time of year, you go down there and rig them and get those balls of fish, and you could be done in literally an hour.
Yeah.
Like people say, "Oh my gosh, it's going to be cold," and you're like, "Well, we're not going to be there long."
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of places you can put in down there, so you pick the spot you want to fish, play the wind, and you don't travel a mile in your boat.
Yeah.
I mean, we went 2 miles a day at the most, just because we was looking. But anywhere you pulled in was full of fish. Unreal. And I didn't even look at pockets that had timber, because I was rigging.
Yeah.
If I'd have went to pockets that had timber, it'd have been even better.
What kind of boat competition and traffic is out there right now?
None.
So it's best time of the year and no boats.
I drove. I made all kinds of rounds today, and I saw some trucks on the lower end, all the way up even to Windsor Crossing. There was 6, 7 trucks in that parking lot. You know, so there were some people out.
But there's there's
But
not enough. So
no,
spread
I mean, it's
out,
not
spread.
like-
I mean,
it's not like April.
Yeah.
it's a very good time of year to be out. A lot of people don't realize that right now is as good as it can get on Truman Lake.
Yeah, 'cause I know we've talked about it multiple times. We've said it that everyone gets excited about the spawn, and it seems like the consensus from the experts is forget the spawn. This is the
Hate the
time.
spawn.
I'd rather be out right now than this one.
Yeah,
They could shut the lake down during the spawn.
maybe our members will help us spread the word and keep the traffic maybe a little further down during the spawn.
I
Maybe
know it.
bring some traffic in the winter time, spread it out.
That's vacation.
Here's the deal right now though, like, you know, you're out there, it's cold, you got a pile of clothes on, everything else. You know, now more than any time, you should always think about boating safety, but now it's so much more crucial because if you fall in now, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And especially if you're by yourself.
Yeah.
And so now, you know, life jackets, let somebody know where you're going,
Yeah.
you know, that sort of thing, exactly where you're going.
Yeah.
You know, that, I mean, you don't have to. These things nowadays are so nice because, you know, my wife can track me. I can tell her I'm going to this farm to sit in this bow stand, and she can track me all the
Yeah.
way there till I'm in the tree.
Yeah.
You know,
Life,
let somebody know where you're at.
Yeah.
Life 360.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty handy. But you know, if you fall in now, especially if you're by yourself, you're in trouble. But if you have somebody with you, you know, get in the boat, get those wet clothes off, try to get something dry on them, get them wrapped up and into the truck.
What have water temperatures been here the last week?
35, 37.
Up in the upper end. Probably a little warmer on the lower end, I would imagine.
41 today.
Yeah.
41.
Still chilly.
Still chilly, yep.
So, I mean, I don't know that you guys have ever had a situation where you've fallen in personally or been there where someone fell in. Any tips about if you actually do fall in, you know, besides get in your boat as quick as possible? I mean, I don't know if there's anything specific.
Carry a duffel bag with dry clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best thing.
Get those wet clothes off.
You gotta get those wet clothes off. Get
So
wrapped
I went fishing with my brother last year by this time. I fell in. I couldn't even swim, move, or nothing. He had to
Really?
get out of the water and I had to put his clothes on. It
Really?
was scary. Yeah. It was scary.
And that's a young man.
Yeah.
And you take somebody in there.
So you basically fell in towards the front of the boat and you just kind of held on to the side of the boat to get to the back.
What I did mistakenly, summertime, I always say there's stuff in the middle of the boat. I'll go around the console. That's how a bass boat. Step on the fiberglass. It
Mm-hmm.
was slick that morning, and I fell right in.
Mm.
Luckily, I kept hold of the boat, but he had to drag me, and I couldn't hardly move.
Yeah.
It was so cold.
Now, and I guess you were probably in and around timber too, probably.
Yeah, that's what we did. We hit a tree kind of. And
Okay.
fell right in.
Yeah, so you're lucky you didn't like hit a piece of timber on the way
I
in.
didn't say I would have on my own, you know.
Yeah. Freaking A. Yeah, that's a little nerve wracking.
Maybe a swim ladder or something to get in the boat if you're by yourself. That'd help.
Have a rope ready, throw cushion.
Yeah, rope, throw pillow.
Yeah.
I keep a throw pillow. It is handy at all times. It
Yeah.
stays in the floor of my boat. I don't care how many people's with me or how much crap we got in there. It
Yeah.
never leaves right in front of my passenger seat.
I saw something, you guys may have seen it. It was a picture about, it was like a rope that was tied to the end of the boat,
Cleat
and,
to cleat.
Cleat to cleat.
and you could step on that rope
Yeah.
to
It's a
get in.
It's a good idea if you don't have a ladder.
Yeah.
A very good idea.
Another good thing is too, like if you have power poles, or you can have somebody go to the back and hold on the motor and trim the motor up,
Mm.
and they can ride the motor up into the boat.
Okay.
Power poles are the same way. They'll pick up a pretty good weight. So if you let the power poles down, get them on top of the power pole and kind of turn where they're actually in a sitting position, you can hit that power pole and it'll help them
Mhm.
get up in the boat. So
Hmm.
they're pretty handy.
Yeah, well, really good to know, and yeah, it's a scary time. I don't think we have as many crazy incidents on Truman as they do down in Lake of the Ozarks, but
No.
I was down all over that today too. I was all the way down. I mean, I made my way all the way from Grand Glaze all the way down to Bagnell Dam,
yeah,
and there wasn't anybody out down there either.
yeah,
You talk about some good fishing. If you want to go Lake of the Ozarks right now as well, golly, the crappie fishing down there this time of year is superb.
Well, and bass fishing down there this time of year is pretty superb as well. It's just complete night and day difference between there and Truman. It can be done on Truman. We have stories and videos out with some of the guys like Steve Blake that have had some pretty stellar days in the wintertime, but it takes very special conditions, several days of nice warm sunshine, clear skies, and you know, the jerkbait can come into play in the wintertime. winter time, but it doesn't happen too often on Truman for the old largemouth bass. Well, let me ask you guys this, because it's a new year. We just wrapped up Christmas season. Any new useful fishing gifts or outdoors gifts from the old Santa Claus bringing you anything interesting?
Heated coats, heated vests.
See, I didn't get any of that, but I'm telling you, that's probably my next big purchase.
I got a heated vest, and it's the ticket.
What brand? Yeah, I don't know, because there's a bunch.
It's got a little red deal up here. Click it, and it's got 3 settings.
Yeah,
Pretty sweet.
that's what I need to get something like that.
Yeah.
So
My wife can tell you.
okay, well, good to know.
But I can tell you, if I was ever to catch a fish, if I had to pick one fish for the rest of my life, and that was the only fish I was going to catch the rest of my life, I just got back from South Texas catching giant redfish, and I'm telling you what, that's the most fun you can have with your pants on.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
That fish is incredible, pound for pound. I always said if a bluegill ever got up to 10, 20 pounds, they'd kill a man. But these things are just incredible.
Yeah.
And we were down there catching reds. You get, in Texas, you get 2 tags on the intercoastal to have 2 fish over 28 inches. And we were catching fish in the 25 to 28 pounds. And I mean, wear you out to where you're just like, I was taking a break. Like, I'm not going to drop my baby.
Yeah.
We were
Wow.
fishing 80-pound braid on medium heavy dialer rods. And oh my gosh, incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. I'd like to have my catfish rods with me. I'm a horse handle if you will.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was
Yeah.
a good time.
Well, and you did some duck hunting down there too. So what was that?
It was different than what we do. Them ducks down there are dumb. There are a lot of divers, so you shoot a lot of redheads, bluebills, buffleheads. You kill pintails, widgeon, shoalers, stuff like that. But it was fun. It was a ton of fun. And their birds are a lot better eating than ours. I mean, I like duck, but it's not like deer.
Yeah.
But the ducks down there were really, really good. And it's the middle of the oyster season down there, so I hit that just right.
So like for us up here, having a big string of greenheads is the thing. What down there, is it the redheads or what's like the duck that you want to have a big string?
Your redheads are like your meat potatoes. So we're gonna go shoot our mallards.
Yeah.
That's how the redheads are. Like, you're gonna kill your redheads.
Yeah.
And then it's whatever after that's pretty cool. So
Okay.
like you kill blue-winged teal, green-winged teal, but you kill them like full plumage. Like the drakes are exquisite. And the pintails have long sprigs on them. So yeah, and you can kill. There was some people who killed some guys there. There was actually a tournament when we got down there. There was a duck hunting tournament for a benefit, but they killed a couple of old squaw, which were kind of cool. You'll kill some scoters, eiders once in a while, like surf scoters, some of the more Gulf of Mexico sea ducks, stuff like that. But you're going to get your redheads, it's kind of like the mallards. And then your bonus stuff is kind of whatever after that.
How's a duck tournament work? You get points for.
They weigh them.
They weigh
Those
them.
redheads only. And,
Okay.
And they weigh them. Yeah.
Okay.
3-man team.
And how many can you shoot? You shoot 6 of them or
2
4?
apiece.
2 apiece.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can kill 6 ducks. You can kill 2 redheads, 1 pintail. So kind of like the way it is here.
Yeah. So you weigh 6, and so.
But your hands don't get cold picking up decoys.
Yeah.
I hunted in hip boots the whole
Yeah.
time.
And
you don't have to brush in.
I was gonna say your setup is you could go out there practically in jeans.
It's
not
laid
like
back.
in.
Yeah, I was in shorts, hip boots, and a camouflage fishing. Our fly shirts.
Yeah.
Is it that pressure down there like it is up here?
There's a lot of hunters down there, but the more pressure, the better. Just like kind of here, there's a lot of guys hunting the birds stay stirred up, but not like. We never went to a spot, like it wasn't private ground or nothing, but we never went to a spot, it's like, oh, somebody set up there. Like the whole time I was there, we were in a pretty good location, big area, and I saw maybe 2-3 spreads maybe. And you run fan boats too, they were in airboats.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool too. I learned a lot about airboats that I didn't know.
Yeah.
There's no flotation in an airboat. I didn't realize this. So this prop spins one way. So you have to know how to drive an airboat or you will sink. And I didn't know this. Like if you just stop and like idle forward or whatever, and the prop spins one way so it sinks one side of the boat, there's no flotation. You're going down.
The hell?
It's pretty incredible. I was like, man, I think it'd be cool to have an airboat. And then the more I was around, I'm like, man, this is awful. Man, it's scary.
Yeah. That's
They're not
bizarre.
for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing down there. Everybody's got an airboat, and they're all set up like giant bow fishing rigs, but they gig flounder. That's what they're for. Is that everybody down there guys flounder gigging trips.
Okay.
So really super cool. Saw the people from Lone Star Law was right across from our boathouse. Talked to the game wardens that's on that show.
Yeah.
Shot a duck that had a elastic hair tie around its neck for a whole bunch of years, so that was kind of different. Shot some all the ducks are full plumage, so really pretty. Then we caught some big sheep's head, which is a very, very good eating fish, but they have teeth like a human. And
It's freaky looking.
it is. Looks like they got dentures in it.
Yeah.
And that's how they crunch oysters.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. A lot of fishing rigs and stuff. It was like crappie fishing. We'd be in 15 feet of water,
Yeah.
and you drop down, and these fish would be like thump, and you set the hook, and then they just scream. They'd be like 20-inch sheep, the 15-inch minimum. They'd be like 20-inch sheep's head. And I mean, they'd just be peel and drag. So it was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Good time. And it was warm.
Yeah.
That was the best part.
Yeah.
A lot of good food.
Yeah. Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Hunter, you did a lot of duck hunting and goose hunting. You're still doing the goose hunting. Tell me some stories from this year.
Man, it's been honestly, it's been a pretty good year for me.
Yeah.
I had a good year. We never really got the cold weather till the end of the season, which kind of sucked because we never got this big push of birds. Everybody just kind of pushing the same ones around all the time. Then this next weekend, I think it's like the 15th, I think. We're going up in the city and hunting a big goose shoot. It's going to be a pretty good time. So I'm ready for that, but I'm ready for tournament fishing to start.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that. And then
Yeah.
March, me and Darren head down to Louisiana to fish a big tournament, so I'm just waiting for time to pass.
Sure. Did you hunt on New Year's Day?
New Year's Day, I hunted the day after.
Oh.
Day after.
Was it still good the day after, Jeff?
I didn't hunt. That was on Sunday.
That's right.
I went to that church.
Saturday was
I got lucky. Jeff had an opening that we snuck in
I
with
see
a
you
couple
guys
of buddies
shot.
and whew, that.
Actually, we hunted them that night, but we did. We hunted
Those days, I'll tell you what, was talking to Jeff, duck thing hadn't been really my thing, but it might be my thing a little bit more moving forward after going through some of that.
When you can sit and take turns and shoot one off of 30 packs.
I sat in a deer blind all day, New Year's Day, snowing, ice, and
Yeah.
When you can sit there and talk and eat and do whatever instead of sitting in blind being quiet,
Yeah.
I'd rather go duck hunting.
They just, every 5 to 7 minutes would be a 15 to 30 pack.
I never heard y'all.
And we just take turns, and if you miss,
And it didn't really get started like that big, like it was like late morning, 11:30 through 2, it seemed like at the time.
10 to 2, it was stupid.
I didn't shoot as good that day, but I was a little bummed.
Yeah.
I shot real good the first time I went with Jeff. I shot real good. But I was impressed with myself on the first 2 mallards I committed. The 2 guys that were with, that he just couldn't figure out how to work the door to drop. And I was like, Jeff, 2 mallards right here. Push it over, and they didn't even know what was going on. Boom, boom, boom. I shot one of them twice. He was flying off, and I got them both, and they just were not ready on the draw. But they got ready after that. So, but that was my highlight of the morning, was knocking those 2 down quick.
Great time.
But man, early afternoon when the bonus bucks, I'm saying bonus bucks. That's what I'm used to. Bonus ducks started flying. We had a giant flock of teal, and Jeff's out retrieving ducks. These teal come in, and it got to be a little pandemonium there.
There was probably 200, 300 green wings in a wad.
Yeah.
And they all came in.
Really fun.
And we'd shot some.
And they circle back around.
Well, we shot some, so we had dead ducks on the water. So the dog's getting ducks, and I'm out, and I'm like, I'm gonna pick some up to try to hurry this up. And we're trying to count to see who needs what. And we got dead ducks on the water, and I'm in the water, the dog's in the water, and there's probably 30, 40 teal in the decoys. And I can't tell what's crippled,
Yep.
what's alive,
Yep.
what's dead, what's what.
Yeah.
They just won't leave.
Right.
Like they're just not leaving. So I'm picking them up, and they're in the blind. The dog's getting them. I'm getting them. They're in there counting. Like he needs one, he needs two, he needs one.
Yeah.
I literally get out of the water and we stand in front of the blind and shoot the rest of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a heck of a day. Awful lot of fun.
It was a good time.
Couple other announcements. First one is there is a Truman Lake Fishing Expo going on in Clinton, Missouri, I believe at the Recreation Center.
Yeah, Benson.
Center.
Yeah.
Benson Center. February 11th and 12th, I want to say. Whatever, it's a Friday, Saturday, so whatever dates those are. We will have a booth. Some of these guides will be there. You can book trips with them or talk to them. I'll be there, and we are running a show special there for those who haven't signed up. If you know someone who hasn't signed up, send them our way. There's gonna be a show special going on. You're gonna start hearing me on the radio on 95.3 and like 105.7 or 104.9. I don't know.
BR 549.
Yeah.
I'm glad I listened to Pandora.
Yeah, you're gonna start hearing me on the commercials between now and March. You're gonna hear 75 commercials. Tyler Mahoney advertising for Truman Lake Fish Intel. But come on down, see us. Love to meet all you guys, and for those that are interested in membership, get you signed up and get you booked up on fishing trips. Some of these guys as well. So that'll be in February. We're super excited about that. I think there's gonna be quite a few local, outdoors hunting and fishing companies there at the show. So that'll be a good thing to support. The other, announcements are we did 3 giveaways in 2021. I haven't drawn the winners yet, but there was a giveaway for if you submit your fishing report. Every single member submitted fishing report you do gets you an entry. We're doing the same thing in 2022. So you will get an entry. So you go fishing on Truman, get on our website, submit your fishing report. You'll get an entry in a fishing trip giveaway. The other way to do it is go leave us a review on Facebook and let us know what you think of the website. That'll get you an entry. And then the third way to get an entry is just being a paid member. So everyone watching this right now, you guys are all paid members. You're already entered. You get 1 entry. So keep that in mind and keep renewing, and you'll automatically get an entry into these fishing trip giveaways. So that's kind of the dealio there. We're excited to kind of get back. We're going to get out on the water. I'm going to be shooting some more video on the water and heat up on the fishing reports. Fishing reports are all kind of the same here moving forward for the next couple of months, but it's going to heat up really good here around March.
We're going to be out a lot. Things are going to kick off here, and we'll all start rolling pretty hard. So there'll be some good stories, some funny stories.
Yeah.
And action's going to get pretty packed. So
February's gonna be good.
February's going to be good. This weather gets turned around. We're creeping up on spoonbill time. I've had with my new Jeff Falconberry Rods Power Catfish, I've had Rusty Pritchard in Oklahoma, which this dude is the dude when it comes to spoonbill.
Yeah.
It just runs in his veins. And he's been running my brute rod pulling dipsy divers and says it's spot on. So if you guys are interested in trying those for pulling dipsies, get a hold of Rusty. He can tell you all about it because he is railing big spoonbill with that thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He says it's working really, really good. So that's around the corner. And I've had 15 calls in the last 2 weeks. I don't know what it is with Nebraska and Iowa with people wanting to go spoonbill.
I don't know. Maybe that's where my dad gets it.
Did people call?
From
The
Nebraska.
last 2 weeks I've had 15, 20 calls from up north of people wanting to go spoonbill.
Yeah. Well, Hunter, I heard you're going to be a spoonbill guy this spring.
I love it. You got live scope, it's a good time.
I'm going to send them a G.
Can I borrow your boat?
Yeah, I get enough chewing for that one.
As soon as Richard gets the new one, we're taking it in. We're going to break it in.
There ain't no lines on my boat, I know that.
No.
Well, boys, anything else you guys want to touch on before we wrap this up? I think we covered a lot of good stuff.
So see everybody in February at that expo. Come by and let us know that you're watching the podcast. If there's anything that you'd like us to talk about or any subjects that you'd like to hear about, email Tyler at the Truman Lake Fishing Intel
at gmail.com.
at gmail.com.
And you can always message the Truman Lake Fishing Intel Facebook page as well. So
Yeah. Something that you want to hear about or something you got a question about, we'll write those questions down and try to get it in on the next podcast. You want to send a shout out to the little woman, we can do that.
that cost extra. Well, hey guys, thanks a bunch for watching. We want to thank again Nini's Italian Steakhouse and Catering and Anglers Port Marine for helping make these videos possible. So be sure to stop on and visit both of them. And to wrap up, let's close out by giving these guys a shout out. Jordan Lear, Anglers Edge Guide Service. How do you get a hold of you?
417-664-5686.
Okay, very good. Jeff Falkenberry, Endless Season Guide Service. How do you get a hold of you?
Carrier pigeon.
Karen.
No. 660-351-5420. You can find me on social media or swing by the house, whatever.
Hunter, how do they get a hold of you to go book all these goose trips with you?
My best thing is just contact Dad. Or just message me on Facebook.
Yep.
The girls can contact me.
That's right. Richard, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
660-351-5361.
Perfect. And Dylan, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
660-351-4904.
All right. You guys better give these guys a call. They book up pretty dang fast for the year. These long timers, Jeff and Richard, you guys are already booked up for the whole year, aren't you?
I've got a few days in February, weather permitting, that the weather pans out, but from March, yeah, I'm done. After
So-
March 1st.
Yeah. So that's how crazy it gets. So, anyways, guys, thanks a bunch for watching. Truman Lake Fishing Intel Expert Roundtable. Be sure to spread the word, let everyone know the type of info we put out. We greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you guys on the next one.